Okay, good morning, everyone. Okay, we'll continue our book reading this morning, Advanced Selling Strategy by Brian Tracy. We'll continue from where we stopped yesterday. We're in chapter 9, which says how to make powerful presentation, and we stopped at page 309, where we read the last paragraph, which says the customer's unspoken questions. We also looked at the three powerful words in questioning. These are the three words you can use to ask a customer a question, three keywords that will make them actually have a full sales conversation with you. One of those first words is feeling, the second one is thinking, and the third word or third expression you should use when making sales presentation is in your opinion. Yesterday, we also looked at the customer's unspoken questions. These are the questions you must answer the customer when making a presentation. They don't actually ask you these questions directly. These are the questions they have in their mind. And one of those questions is, why should they listen to you in the first place? When you already have their attention and you've had a meeting with them, the question that runs through their mind is, why should I listen to you? So you have to make it clear to them why they should listen to you. Then the second unspoken question is what it is. The question of what it is has to arouse curiosity and excitement in the mind of the customer during your first meeting. So today we'll continue from where we stopped. Said the third questions. Remember, there are three unspoken questions. Today we'll look at the third question. So the third question which you must address throughout the sales conversation is, what is in it for me? People ask for their reasons, not yours. When dealing with a salesperson, customers are only interested in how they can personally benefit from what it is you're offering. Everything you do and say must be geared towards answering these questions in some way, or the customer will lose interest and begin wondering when you will leave. The fourth question that customers never ask aloud, but which you must imagine he's thinking is, so what? Your company has been in business for 50 years. So what? You have been at the same location for 23 years. So what? Your products are used by many of the biggest companies in the country. So what? The answer to so what is the same answer to what is in it for me. Every fact or piece of information you give must be tied to a benefit of some kind for the prospect. Imagine there is a spotlight above the desk between you and your prospect. Imagine also that every time you talk about the prospect and what is in it for him, the light shines on the prospect. He is the center of attention. The prospect is smiling and happy. The prospect is curious and interested. The prospect is open and receptive. The prospect and his situations are in the spotlight. But when you start talking about yourself, your product, its features, and your company, the spotlight swings around and shines on you. You are the star, the important person rather than him. The prospect is in the shadow. His personal concerns are now secondary. He soon loses interest. He becomes bored and impatient. The prospect wonders how long you will be staying. The prospect begins to think about his other problems and begin planning what he will do as soon as you leave. When you ask an open-ended question, or when you talk to the prospect about what is in it for him, the spotlight swings onto the prospect again, and the prospect once more become the center of the conversation. Your job is to keep the sales spotlight on him at all times by continually phrasing everything you say to answer the question, what is in it for me? The fifth question the prospect wants an answer to is, who says so? other than you. Your answer can make or break the sales because of the prospect's experience with sales and salespeople in the past. Every customer has been misled by salespeople. So when you call on a prospect and begin a presentation, you should always remember that this particular prospect has been subject to years of puffery from salespeople in the past. Everything you say is somewhat suspect. No matter how honest, experienced, reliable, or trustworthy you are a salesperson. You are expected to put the best possible light on your product or service. You are expected to blow it up to puff it so that it looks and sounds better than perhaps it really is. Often, you will deal with prospective customers who seem cynical, negative, and disenchanted. He will respond to you with caution and suspicion. He will sometimes roll his eyes when you make a claim for your product or service. He has probably been burned so many times in the past that he is extremely careful about being burned again. No matter what you say about your product or service, he feels that he has heard it all before. The only question he has is how much of what you say is really true. So after you have answered the question, what is in it for me? The prospect wants to know who says so, other than yourself. Who else, preferably an objective party, says that your product or service is as good as you say it is? You must be prepared to answer these questions right out of the gate if you're going to get a fair hearing from your prospect. As long as it is only you making a claim about your product, there will be an invisible wall of skepticism and suspicious standing between you and your prospect. The sixth question is, who else has done it? Nobody wants to be purchasing and using a product or service. The prospect wants to know who else has done it other than me. Human beings have a herd instinct. We feel there is a safety in number. We are more convinced that a product or service is good when we learn that lots of other people have already bought it and are satisfied with it. We don't want to make a mistake. We don't want to pay too much or buy the wrong thing. We have a fear of failure. But when you can show us that lots of other people have bought your product or service and are happy with it, it answers both questions. Who says so and who else has done it? Okay, so this is your stop for our reading today. We still continued from the customer's unspoken question. And the third one for one of the unspoken question is, what is in it for me? When making a sales presentation, you have to tell your prospect or your customer, the person you're dealing with, what are his benefits? What is he going to benefit from using your product? What is it that your product or your service is offering to him? That is when he asks the question, what is in it? What is in it for me? So these are the things you should look for. What are the things that are going to benefit your prospect or benefit your clients when they use your product or your service? Then the fourth question that the customer has never asked aloud is, so what? So what if your company has been in business for over 17 years? What if your company produces the best surge protector? So what and so what and so. That is when you bring the benefits in. You also tie the benefits of your product and services to your sales presentation. Learn everything about the benefit of your product and services so that you'll be able to tell your clients or your prospects what they can benefit from using your product and service. The fifth question the prospect wants you to answer as a salesperson is, who says so other than you? Who else is also giving a testimonial about your product and services? Who else is also talking good about your product and services? Is it just you that is, you know, puffing up about your product and your services, or are there other people that say, okay, your product is good? Okay. When the sixth question say who else has done it, this is where testimonial comes into play. You also want to give testimonials of other company or customers who have used your product and they've testified about it. They don't want to make mistake. They want to know that, okay, if someone else has tried it, that means if it works for this person, to be able to work for me. So testimonials and referrals are important in answering this sixth question in the mind of the customer. Who else has also done it? So that is just a brief summary of our reading today. Thank you.